Welcome everyone to this week's edition of Water Talks, where we're going to be looking at a deep dive into hydraulic modeling, back-end data management. And our host for today, really excited to have Sean Huang, who is a development manager here at Innovise, and myself, Hunter Sparks. I'm a systems engineer over here at Innovise. So just a quick overview, whether you have been here before or you're new to Water Talks, really the goal is to create a community where you can come and ask any questions and all of your questions, and we will provide answers, give advice, and offer insights to achieve your goals and accelerate. We really want this to be an informal discussion, so please at any time enter your questions in the question panel within GoToWebinar. And then upcoming events and Water Talks next week, we will have our common swim concerns and how to address them. So going to go ahead and hop into the presentation. And before we dive deep into the specific file folders within InfoWater Pro, it is important to point out how the file structures of InfoWater and InfoWater Pro are related. I know we have some people that are working on InfoWater Pro, some that are working on InfoWater, and some that will be making that transition. So as you can see here, although they are saved in different file formats with the MXD for InfoWater and APRX for InfoWater Pro, they are made up of the same backend database, which is the IWDB and then the .OUT. And the IWDB folder includes all information for hydraulic analysis, while the .OUT folder is always reproducible by rerunning a simulation, and this allows for your model and hydraulic analysis results to be passed between the two softwares. So next we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a deeper dive into these databases. So now that we know what makes these file formats and what makes them tick, we're going to look a little bit more in what they contain. The bottom image shows the main file types we discussed on the last slide and what they look like in the File Explorer environment. But what makes up these files? Of course, more folders. Inside the IWDB, you will find folders correlating to the different portions that make up your hydraulic analysis. Some include control, demand, map display, scenarios, UDF, etc. You will also find .dbf, which are standard database files, and MDX files, which are dictionary files for the backbone components of your models, like your pipes, junctions, etc. So to boil it down, within the folders are more folders and files which make up your hydraulic model. But how do you view or make edits to this information? Do you have to open it in InfoWater Pro? Do you have to open ArcGIS Pro? Let's explore this a little bit further. Since the building blocks of your model are comprised of DBF file types, which is the old but commonly used visual DBase database files, you're able to open and view the data with multiple programs. Note that the shapefile is also based on this database file format. Of course, you can open and view them within InfoWater Pro through the DB editor tools. These files can also be opened and viewed within Excel. However, please do not edit with Excel, as Excel and Microsoft Office no longer save the files with this database format. So some other ways that you're able to open and view these files are Microsoft Access, as well as other DBF viewer softwares, which can be found online. And next, we're going to dive a little bit deeper on how you can edit these files. So before editing, it is important to locate these files, and they can be found in two places. The main IWDB database saved to the folder you have selected to save your model, as well as within the temp folder on your computer. This is done so that while you are making edits to your hydraulic model, but before you save it to the main database, you can edit and make changes as you see fit, but it won't commit them to the actual model until you save it. If your program were to crash or a mistake is made, you can pull up the temporary file and pick up where you're left off and commit these changes, or of course you can abandon them if you don't want them to be committed to the actual data, your actual model. And so next we'll look at editing the files within InfoWater Pro. So within InfoWater Pro, you're able to make changes within the Model Explorer, where you can make changes by each individual component one at a time. However, if you want to make changes to groups or multiple components, you can do that within the data tables, which can be found in the Component tab of ArcGIS Pro. These changes will be committed to the temp file folder source until you save your model, at which point they will be saved to the main data folder. So as discussed before, within the initial IWDB folder, there are additional folders for different components of the hydraulic analysis. We're going to look into one of those folders and look at the scenario folder and how it translates to the scenarios you've created within InfoWater Pro. The scenarios pull in different information types, including control, demand, the type of pipes it's going to use, which then pull from an additional file folder where the information that populates these scenarios resides. To look at how the scenarios are built and mapped together, you can look at the full scenario.dbf in Excel. In this file, you can look at the ID, parent scenario, demand, etc. And you can really consider this file a map document for those scenarios to see where each one resides and how they are mapped to one another. So when you open the control or demand portions of these folders, you will find additional DBF files. These files house the information which build the scenarios. And these files can be edited within ArcGIS Pro or other programs and can then be pulled into InfoWater Pro, where the changes will populate the scenarios. And as mentioned earlier, though these files can be viewed within Excel, they cannot be edited there because, of course, Office will not save the visual DBase format. When you're making these changes to these controls and demands and other file types that creates these scenarios, it's important to know which scenarios that will be affected. And this is where you can lean back on that map file, the scenario DBF file, which shows which demands, controls, and other informations are tied to which scenario. This will make sure when you are committing changes, you're only affecting the files you are intending to change and not making consequences to other scenarios that did not need to have these updates. And so now we've talked through this and we've looked at how it works in screenshots. I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Sean, who's actually going to show you how this process looks live. Sean, I'm going to go ahead and pass screen sharing and control over to you.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. And right now we can see your screen.
Okay, sounds good. So, okay, before I start, I want to emphasize that this webinar is informal. So please type any questions that you have now during this 1 hour. Yeah, so we will try to address them one by one. If there are too many, or if you have any questions that you have in the future, always contact InfoWater support. We have a really dedicated, really productive support team. They are working as a team, as a very effective team. So they also hold a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, for sharing. So just go ahead and do it anytime. And then the purpose for this, Hunter, can you hear me okay?
Yep, can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Great, and we actually have, before you get started, we actually do have some questions already, if you would like me to throw them your way.
Sure, go ahead.
First one, is there any plans or options to have access to the .out file binary format similar to the spec defined within EPANet?
Yeah, that binary format output file is written in really specialized format. And then we did receive those requests during the last several years. I believe the PM is evaluating for now, we have an option in the, you can see my screen. We have this option called export here. If you can see my mouse, export simulation results for external application. So basically, it will read those at the out files and then export to the DB tables. Yeah, it could be really long and wide table, and then we can, if you are interested in reading those DB tables into your own application or project, that's all doable. So yeah, in about how about the PM's planning, I think I probably later, along the way I will talk with him, just make sure he is receive these question too.
Perfect. And then another question, can you use the backend database to rename scenarios/databases easily?
That's doable as long as we don't break the visual DBase format, and then not just a single location. Maybe we need to make other locations, other tables, because the other table might reference those scenario. As long as we are able to make sure all the locations, all the tables have been added, in synced, it should be okay. Yeah, it's doable.
Perfect. And then we get this question a lot, and yes, the PowerPoint will be shared after the presentation. So Sean, I'll go ahead and let you continue, and as more questions come in, I will go ahead and throw them your way.
Okay, yeah, just let me know. And then the purpose for my presentation is to make sure everybody knows InfoWater Pro is really open. At the end of this webinar, I want to make sure that you understand, you own 100% of your data, and also you know 100% of your data. There is nothing hidden. So, okay. Let me go ahead to quickly summarize what Hunter demoed, in the software environment. So, okay, so here we have, put it here. So we have those files, those three that Hunter showed. The most important one is IWDB, and because it holds all the information, everything coming from this folder. This is just a map document. It contains those data links, for example, to shape files and to file geodatabase layers, anything, or a raster, elevation raster. Data links, and include those symbology that you prefer, that you make in the map. So if we, and then because of this folder includes a lot of DBF files, maybe 200 plus, and usually we like to zip it, so it will reduce the storage. It doesn't occupy a lot of your storage, space, and it's also easier for for us to have you, or for you to transfer your data to server or to another person. So just zip it up. Really good. Okay. And next, I want to go into this IWDB folder, and then to look at those folders and files contained inside this IWDB folder. So first, let's talk about a visual DBase. Visual DBase is a really great format, because people are still using it. And the good thing about this is it doesn't change; it's constant. So I would like to assume, in 10 years, the visual DBase will be still the same format. Nobody will change it. The shapefile will be using this format too. The the bad thing about this is, Excel or Microsoft Office, they will no longer, support this format. But luckily, we still have, ArcMap or ArcGIS Pro. They still, need to work with this format. So you can use ArcMap or ArcGIS Pro, to make edits. And like Hunter's mentioned, I just emphasize again, we don't want to, we can view it, but we don't want to, edit it, So, and then usually, always think this is a pair, the DBF and the MDX, they are a pair. This is the content of the table, and this is the index, so they are always come in a pair. So, and then InfoWater and the InfoWater Pro, they are interchangeable because of, good thing about the visual database, the format doesn't change. So, there might be a little bit difference in terms of the attributes in different tables because in InfoWater Pro, we added more and more features into it. We just append some attributes to to some tables, but in the same time we try to minimize the impact of those new features coming into InfoWater Pro. Here I want to go to the map folder. So this map folder is kind of a little bit different from other folders. The map folder includes the map.gdb, which is a file geodatabase. All the layers there, here, in these TOC, referencing the data sets or feature classes here inside this folder. So if we don't have this folder, or if the layers got corrupted, if it doesn't have any if it has any kind of index issue, we can always just delete this folder, create a blank one, and then use the InfoWater Pro's update map from DB. So actually, it will get all the information, X and Y, and all those ID, and then recreate those layers. So. And then all other folders, some are just for the extensions or additional modules, and some of them are for data sets. So the data sets folders, for example, like pipe, we don't have a pipe data set here, so we don't have a pipe folder. If we do have a pipe data set, we will see a pipe folder, but we do have the control set and demand set, so we have those two folders here. And then not all the files, not all the DBF files are the same. They are not created equal. There are some really important. For example, a hydraulic table. For example, like a pipe height. If you see it here, the pipe height, pipe HYD, it is the hydraulic information, hydraulic table for the pipe layer. So include the length, the diameter, the roughness, C factor, and minor loss. Those important information will be used in the simulation. So we also have information table. Let me go to DB editor here. So data set only applies to those 6 tables in other kind of extended or control data or curve and pattern data. The information table, it will not be part of the data set because they're just for users to store some comments or some information for tracking purposes. And we also can append, custom fields in order to, to track our own projects. Right? So that's all doable inside those, information table. The hydraulic tables, users are not allowed to change, the schema for those tables. So, okay, let me go back here. And then, we have some. Here I want to show you inside, the demand. We will touch it a little bit. We have these demand DBF and the MDX. Again, it's a pair. So, this is the inside. This is the demand set. Okay, and outside, under this IWDB folder, the root, we also see the demand.dbf and demand.mdx. So so all the files in the root of IWDB folder, they belong to the active scenario. So we just need to be aware of it. We'll know more about it later in my demo. So, and then so next, I have those many tables. I'm eager to know what is inside, right? Just open it if you are interested in any of those DB files. Just open it, and you will see it has the same format as the DB table. Like ID, domain 1, pattern 1, domain 2, pattern 2. It's actually the same. Yeah, and then we can the DB editor is really powerful too. For example, we can do some statistics, or maybe we can open the pipe table to see how long is, the 12-inch pipes, as a total. It's all doable. It has a lot of, functionalities that we can apply in the DB table, but it will not serve everybody, right? Some people, they really like to graph on those data, or to do some reporting or analysis, so they can do it in the Excel. But again, we are not able to edit this table, so it's better to Control A and then copy everything to a new spreadsheet, and then do some analysis that you want. So, and then we also, because it's all there, so the DB table, the DB files, as long as you are comfortable with those visual DBS format, you are comfortable using the Python tools or ArcGIS Pro tools, the toolbox tools, and even write something, write some code scripts, you can do it. Just make sure you are editing the right one. Later we will talk about it. Yeah. Okay. So Hunter, do we have any questions coming in?
Yes, we do. So one of the ones here, I've been told that if too many models are saved in the same folder, and the model can get confused between the different files when it is saved. Is this true? If so, why does it happen? And how can you avoid while still maintaining multiple backup versions of the model in case of crash?
Yeah, okay. So if we want to put something inside this model, it could confuse, yeah. But if you put everything outside of the IWDB folder, no, it will not be confused. It should be okay. But just when we save a model to a previous version or to the next version, maybe the additional layer will be kind of lose track. So it's no longer part of the model. Let me give you an example. I have a UDF model, and then I create a something called the hydrant lateral layer. It's a shape file. It's in the DAR folder. And then it has a specific path. So once we save to another model, then the path will change. So the hydrant lateral layer could be still there. And then when the new model create this layer, it will just create the layer with the right path. So we could end up with just two hydrant lateral layer there, in the TOC. It could happen, we create some the annotation, we create some contours for the previous model, and if those layers are still have the correct data link, it will still show up in the TOC. But again, if nothing is if this one is kept kind of independent, no other information, it will work. So
perfect. Yeah, we got a few more that I'll throw your way. If I have to modify the network, say need to add a new pipe to create a loop, would this change the base network?
The base network, yes, yeah, new pipe, new geometry, it will all show up, in the base network. It will be included in, it will be included for all scenarios. But scenario is able to deactivate, deactivate some, some pipes, not part of, this scenario. And also we have a pipe network with, pipe, sorry, not a pipe network, the pipe data set. So the pipe data set can have different, different diameter, different, length or whatever other, hydraulic significant parameters. But in terms of geometry, yeah, it will show up in the base. So it applies to all scenarios.
Perfect. And then so since editing the DBF files doesn't work in Excel, do you have any suggested softwares to edit those files?
I think I would just rely on this. If you can see my screen, we have this kind of, ArcGIS Pro editor. So just use that. I will show it later. I think this is the best way because I think Esri, values the shape files, the most than any other, software vendor. So, and yeah, if you want to give more, no more, do that more, just, yeah, you can, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of open source, Python or whatever, tools that you can use. So, and yeah, and just, just send us any questions because, again, our InfoWater support team receives a lot of questions and then, have a lot of people, and they, if you send a question in, we would like to share, other people's, questions and answer to you. So.
Great. And then it happened a lot when I tried to clone some master data set, but the data did not transfer to the new set. Why did this happen?
Okay, so clone, yeah, so what, yeah, how does it get cloned? Is it a data set, right? Okay, I will assume it's a clone the data set to a new one. For example, let me share it. So for example, I clone this, data set, to another one, and then those two files will be copied exactly, to the new data set. Maybe I can, no, this is not a way to do the clone. Okay, I'm just, yeah. If we have a data set called EX2, right, those two will copy exactly, yeah, to this guy. So maybe, yeah, it doesn't work. There's a problem. Maybe it's about, we will touch on that later. Maybe it's a, switching scenario. One is an active scenario, the other is not, we need to sync it. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So please ask questions. Yeah. So please ask the question later after we go over, after I demo the, how to distinguish, the active data set and in active scenario. So yeah,
Perfect.
we can follow up. Yeah.
Perfect. In a typical scenario, we have a data set and facility. Which one will take precedence if there are conflicts between the two? For example, under the data set, we have pipe set, under facility, query set.
I think facility will take has a higher priority. Yeah. So it determines the, the scope. It determines, remember, in our layers, there is an info type. So yeah, so the info type has a 0 means normal, 1 means maybe domain, 2 means inactive. So the facility settings will change that info type, is it 1 or, or 0, so, or 2. Yeah. So, and then based on that, it will try to look for, the pipe hydraulic data, such as the length, diameter, those and then do the simulation.
Perfect. Just a few more. I like to reference the out folder to manipulate results from my reports using external applications. It is difficult to use the data though, since the output is a 2D table. Is there a way for InfoWater to output 3D result tables without the user opening the actual application?
3D, 2D, yeah, 2-dimension, yeah. I believe a 2-dimension means we have element type, we have element ID, and we also have a timestamp. That's my assumption. So, and in the 3D, I'm not sure what it means. So yeah, so Hunter, I'm not sure.
We can follow up. We can follow up with that one and try and get a little bit more detail. And then I'll just one more before I'll just pass it back over to you. We have an older version of InfoWater and struggle to bring data in from InfoWater Pro. Is there a specific update or method to bring a model created in InfoWater Pro into InfoWater?
Yeah, I'm not sure what troubles that you are experiencing. It's to be pretty smooth. I recommend to reach out to InfoWater support, and if there's any issue, we would like to address. We added a lot of features into InfoWater Pro, and we try to minimize the impact on the InfoWater Classic. So, just for example, we add some, like a EPNA 2.2, the criteria to terminate the simulation, or in order to get a converged solution. We added like a low flow, the flow criteria. We just try to identify if there's a single pipe has a really big flow change. So that is one option. We need to add it to a table, but it's not affect InfoWater Pro, and in the transition from the InfoWater Classic to InfoWater Pro should be pretty smooth. So let us know or reach out to the InfoWater support.
Perfect. Yeah, I can't echo enough what you've touched on, that the InfoWater support really is there to help with really any and all of your questions, and they do a really good job with that information. Yeah, that's it for now. I'll go ahead and pass it back to you to continue the demonstration.
Okay. So yeah, here I want to touch it again about this thing. We in the slide we need to put a red box here. So this is the option that Hunter mentioned. We have the project database editing buffer. We call the virtual DB or VDB. So we can check it out, but it will tell you the importance of this VDB. Okay. I will not check it off. And then in order to know where is that virtual DB, we can come here and then hit additional data. And this is the location of that database. Okay, so this is the database in the work. And then this is the database that not this one. Yeah, let me go back here. So this is the I think it's this one. Yeah. So basically, once we initialize the model, everything inside this IWDB folder, everything is copied into this location. So they are exactly the same after initialization. So yes, and then okay, let me demo it. Just quickly demo this this port. Demo how it works. Okay, so here I already initialized the model, and then I want to make a change in my pattern. Maybe I put 10, just any number, 1040. And then let me go to This is the original model, and then let me go to the working model here, and this is the demand. I don't know, I'm pattern. Okay, I changed the pattern. So the pattern data should be inside this table. It's called the pattern data, the PATN data. So let me open it, and I should be able to see 1040, but it's not here. I don't know. So the reason is we need to click OK. So once we click OK, the editing session is done, for the table. So if we come back again, we should be able to see 1040 there, it's 1040. So when we do the editing as a user, those changes are always saved immediately. Okay. After we hitting the OK, the green OK. So since this is not a right number, let me return it to the correct one, and then change it. Okay. The other way is maybe, okay, the previous saving procedure, I call it, kind of auto save or application save. And this one, I will call it a user save. Once the user save it, once we save it, okay, it's the other direction. It's the other direction. Everything here will be saved to, this original model. Yeah. So, and then just another point that Hunter already mentioned, if I lost power, or if something wrong, crash, and we can always come back, to this folder, to pick it up, or if you can just abandon it, or if you need some, changes, edits that you want to recover, you can claim the editing session and then go from there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, and the next one I want to demo is about a data set. So remember, we mentioned that in here, we have, okay, let me see which, okay, now I am at, let me go to Scenario Explorer. We have this existing, so it's all base, right? All base. So let me go to base. So we have those two files, right? And also we have another two files here. Okay. If I want to make a change here, for example, let me do the domain change, and then demo and how it works. So let me select, okay, go to the table again. I want to see which junction is, okay, J10 is, let me do the J10. Let me go to J10. Yeah, so we have 0.15, right? Demand, I can just, put it, change it to 1.5. And then save it. I should be able to see this change here. Yeah, 1.5, right? Yeah, and this is a active data set. Okay, active data set. This is not a individual data set. It's not here, not this one. It is not this one. Yeah, no, they are not. It's just its own active data set here. But you probably will have a question. How can I sync, this demand set? I make a lot of important change. I want to sync this demand set into this individual demand set. In order to do it, we need to switch scenario, so it will do the sync. Okay, so let me switch it to another one. Okay, and then, so we switch it to this scenario. Basically, what it does is, okay, it will move, it will do those data set, transition first, so first, because this demand set, I mean, no. Okay, so here the demand set here, yeah, it belongs to the the existing scenario. So the files will be copied into the base and replace this one. So we already did a switch, right? So let's open this one. We should be able to see the 1.5. It doesn't. So let me come here. So we still have 1.5, and this is existing. And so this file is not being saved. Yeah, so let me switch back to see. Yes, the previous one is existing. And so existing is referencing. Let me go to maybe, yeah, I'm not, oh, not this one. Go to the scenario explorer. So it's a base. So be 1.5, but still it doesn't. I need to figure out why later. So, but that's how it should work. So once it is synced, come inside. Once it's synced, all the files need to be copied into here. All the edits need to be reflected in those in kind of the active active demand set need to replace those demand set that the scenario referencing to. And after it's done, it will go to the current scenarios. For example, like this one, the current scenarios, it has its own, for example, the control set. It will copy those control set files into active scenario. So yeah, it will copy, for example, here, it will copy those files into the active scenarios outside of all the folders, in the root of the IWDB folder. Yeah, so and then once we save this model, once we save this model, it should, we should be able to see the changes inside the original model. So let me open this. Yeah, so we should be able to see the 1.5 here. Okay. So, and then, so this is the demo about, how to, how, in the InfoWater Pro, does the scenario. So, okay. Yeah, next I want to demo how to add it, through the ArcGIS Pro, because we, in order to do it, we first, for example, we can load those shape files, data sets, and feature classes. We can also load those DB tables into the ArcGIS Pro, and then so before we add it, right? I already added in, so but before we add it, we can open it to take a look. And we also can, before we make any changes, I want to make sure, if this table referencing the right one, is it which one, is it, or this is referencing the original models, the pipe table, right? The pipe hydraulic table. And this one is what is, this is a temporary, working copy. So let me do a change. Okay, let me go to, this is also another way that you can see, you can just open Excel to see how many links, in my model, to check if my license is able to open the model. Okay, so let me go to bottom, and then I want to change this pipe to a spatial value that catch it will catch our eyes, right? Let me change it to 8.8. Yeah, and then that's done. It's not done, yeah, because we need to go to, we need to go to the ArcGIS Pro, the manage edits, the ribbon group, and save it. Yeah, and it will prompt you, do you want to save all the edits? You can click yes, I want to save it. So it's there. We should be able to see the 8.8 in which location? I mean, in this location, in this location. So let me go there, check it. So here, scroll to bottom. We should be able to see the the 8.8. It doesn't show up because it's locked, and then maybe there is a saving procedure that. Okay, so this is the right copy. Open it again. Yeah, it doesn't get saved. I don't know why. So just need to be careful because we are using ArcGIS Pro's function. Do it again. So this is a 13160. Let me save. Show all the edits. Yes, I want to save it. It probably will take a while. Okay. Let me close this table and reopen. Make sure it stays there. Yeah, it stays there. And come back here. Go to the bottom to see. So we have 8.8. So just, really often as a modeler, I've been a modeler for some years. We really want to make sure you make a change, it's there, kind of double check, so we will not lose anything, and we don't need to make those unnecessary, assumption. Okay, so this table has been changed. And then if we select this pipe, we should be able to see it here. So the pipe is 13160. So it's 8.8. Yeah. And if I make the changes here, I save it as a 8.8. Yeah, so if we make a changes here, let me do the 6.6. And again, this is the original models, DB table. So I return it back to 6.6 and then save it. And then close it. And then reopen, make sure it's there. Okay, it got changed. Okay, and then here, let me do 13150 and then come back to this. Yeah, it will not be changed. Do you know why? Yeah, I think everybody probably will understand here because this one is referencing the temporary folder. Yeah, temporary folder. So if we close this project, not save it, and we reopen, we should be able to see 6.6 because of the new edits in this table. New edits in this table, it will not save to the original model. The original model will retain this value. Okay, so and then there are other tools in the ArcGIS toolbox. For example, we can use the merge to merge two tables together. Of course, InfoWater has a merge model function that we can use. But if you like to merge two files, maybe two DB tables that you want, you can use ArcGIS Pro, the toolbox, the merge function. The other example is if you If you want to verify domain allocator works, you can use the ArcGIS Pro's the toolbox functions such as the spatial search or near. There are a lot of functions we can fully use to take advantage of. Okay. So I want to leave more time for discussion. So that I think that's just at the end I want to kind of clarify things here. So we have active. We have the data set here. With each folder represents a data set. For example, here is we have base demand set. We have existing max date demand set. We also have an active demand set, just to make sure. Yeah, we have active demand set. Yeah, and then we have, go into, oh, not here. Let me go back. Yeah. So we have this scenario DB table, DB file, scenario. Yeah, that Hunter show. Scenario. Okay. So we have those scenarios here, right? Those are our scenarios, base, existing, everything in the scenario. Those scenarios are not the same as this, are not the same as this one, everything. Yeah, they are not the same as this. They are so they are they are the base. I mean, they are the scenario with the users added. Okay, I'll make it clear. Yeah, they are the scenario. The current scenario plus the added, and we all need to switch scenario in order to sync, this scenario with the original scenario. And actually is a sync those data sets. So, and then when we create a new scenario, it inherits a lot those data sets. Let me go to here. So if I new child, it will inherit all those data sets, and then it's just at the creation. After it, we can reassociate, right? We can reassociate those demand set or control set. And then the inheritance is already broken. It will not be recovered unless you come here to reassociate to the right data set. Okay, another point I want to make is, so if I make a control set here, right? The existing alternate pumping control, it will impact multiple scenarios, as long as it will impact 3 scenarios, maybe this one, not just one. It will impact multiple. Yeah, could be. Yeah. So okay, let me stop here, Hunter. And then that us talk more about, address more questions.
Perfect. Yeah, we've had a couple come in. So what would you suggest for comparison of different versions of the same DBF file between scenarios? That is, how can I tell what is the difference between tables?
That we have a tool, scenario comparison tool. I kind of understand it probably doesn't suit these users' needs. And I will recommend to open those tables, copy those contents to the Excel spreadsheet, side by side, and then do some sorting, and you will figure out what are the differences. Sort by ID, and then kind of and then you will see the differences. Yeah. So.
All right. I've had some trouble with my model corrupting after renaming data sets. Why does this happen, and how can I prevent it?
Corrupted data set, rename those data set, and it. Yeah. So in order to address that, I think you can come to the scenario table. We only have a single table, so that's really good. Only a single location. Yeah, in my screen, we have this scenario. Yeah, so make sure, for example, if I change the data set name for this scenario, we just come to, okay, maybe the control set, right? Yeah, here, you just make sure, this one is correct. And again, you don't, if InfoWater Pro doesn't provide, that function, you can always come to, ArcGIS Pro and then just, not do it, just kind of, make sure it has this one here and it should do a trick. So yeah, again, not to add it, through the Excel.
And then the next one, sometimes I need to access a database while all the InfoWater licenses are in use. Is it okay / recommended to open / view, not edit, the data tables in the IWDB using the DBFs without opening InfoWater?
Oh, that's doable, right? Yeah, you don't need to open. Yeah, it doesn't. Open those. Open those DB tables in the Excel or access through the ArcGIS Pro, or with other secondary development tools like Python tools. It doesn't require a license.
Perfect. How about, can you change the location of the working database on the C drive?
I don't think so. So we kind of reserve those location for So I don't think so. So the temporary folder probably will be always temporary folder. We don't have this option. Yeah, to change the working folder location. So. Okay. Just a side note, so we have this template folder. It contains all those table with schema, table with schema. It doesn't have any contents. And if you really want to replace some blank tables, maybe replace the blank ones, just come here and pick up those DB files and copy over. Okay.
Perfect. I'm having trouble to open the DBF file in Excel. Would you be able to help how to open the demand.dbf in Excel?
I believe we can do it, kind of right click and then open with. And we need to search for, the Excel.exe. It could be 32-bit, it could be 64-bit. So in your machine, it depends on your installation. Just come here, look for, if it doesn't show up here, we need to look for another app in this PC and just go through the C drive, and then look for the Excel.exe. The other way, alternative way to do it is you open Excel and then just from the file open. Yeah, it should be able to open it. The file open. It should be able to open the DB, DB file. So.
Perfect.
Okay.
What is the difference between new child scenario, copy scenario, and also the difference between clone and copy scenario?
Yeah. So those, right? Talking about the copy, right? The copy scenario, and new child, right? The copy and new child. So new child just kind of has a context, right? Right click here. I have a new child. It will be under here. But if we copy, you probably can put it anywhere, right? Copy and then paste it here as child, or just just okay. Maybe let me put it here, or just we have those two things. We copy, and then two options: paste it just anywhere, or as a child of that, right? Let me just do it. So it will just in the same label as this. And yeah, as a child, it will. So copy remember, in the scenario table, we have multiple rows, right? So the copy will be just copy the row. The current row, maybe here, right? We copy the, so we copy, and it could be end up just, paste it here. It would be just, rewrite that row. So let me just paste it. So about to replace data scenario with this one. Yeah. So yeah, so it will, this is another way. Okay, let me open that. Open and then, yeah. So pass it as child, it will create a new record. And copy past, it will be just, kind of rewrite this. For example, if this is the highlighted scenario, it will be just overwriting this record. So, okay.
Perfect. And I know we're a little over, but I'm just going to throw one more question your way, and then there are still more questions that are in here, but we will follow up afterwards to answer the rest. But I think this would be a good one to end on. Do similar editing procedures apply to InfoSwim model files as well?
Yes. First, InfoSim, InfoSewer, they all contain the same, maybe much more DB tables, DB files. And then those DB files has the same format as InfoWater. So yeah, and then the tools here can be applied to InfoSim and InfoSewer too. So yeah, it's that's right, yeah.
Perfect. Well, we'll go ahead and end on that one. Thank you, everyone, again for your time. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to either of us. I'm going to go ahead and just grab sharing from you just real quick on, if that's okay, just so I can put up our email addresses. And can you let me know if that screen popped up?
Yeah.
With our email addresses. Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for your time today. As mentioned, please follow up with any questions, and we'd be happy to discuss further. And Sean, thank you so much for your time today.
Okay. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.